Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Mary Guy Unfiltered, and this is me coming to you guys giving you a lovely progress on my May 2025 goals, as well as recapping some more tips on self-discipline and how self-discipline is important. And just to recap again, just for anyone who might be watching this video for the first time and haven't seen the previous videos, I am being, just like it says in the description, I'm being transparent and open as I go through my journey of self growth, where I am tasked to, and I'm tasking myself to be better and improve my self discipline. Because I've learned and I've studied and I've grown to know that self discipline is the key for a lot of things that I want to accomplish in my life, and a lot of things I've accomplished in the past. The reason why I might have backslid or may have reversed the whole progress that I've done is because I lacked self discipline. Self discipline, just from studying it these past few weeks of the month of May, has really shown to be a very detrimental tool set for me to have in order to continue and maintain all of the different things that I succeed on. So, with that being said, that gives you a good summary on why it is that I'm posting all of these videos with the title Self Discipline at the top. Well, that's the reason why I go more in detail on some of the previous videos. So I've made those very easily accessible for anyone who would choose to watch them all. I've created a playlist. And so the playlist goes in the order in which I've uploaded them. So all you have to do is just go to that playlist and it's already there for you in chronological order. You can replay it, you could share it, however, whatever you want to do with it. Also, just don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Make comments below. I reply to them, read them all. Just so if you have a goal that you are wanting to work on, share it with me, and we can be accountable. We can be accountability partners. I can hold you accountable. I can help with sharing some tips if that's what someone might need, as well as you might have some tips for me. So it's for us to draw from each other while we're here on this earth. I feel like that's what we're here for, is not just to try to do things on our own. So I'm just here to be open and transparent as I talk through my goals. So on the previous video, I actually tracked my spending, and that stemmed from a previous video where I shared how I did Mother's Day budget. I did a short little simple budget for just the weekend of Mother's Day because I knew that I was going to go out of town, and I knew from the past or past events where I've had to either travel out of town or have people housed in my residence. It costs a gang of money that I did not really all the way budget for. Although I made a way to make it work, I want to be more proactive. And so by me doing that and then seeing that I went over on my budget, and then the idea came to me to go back and track my spending on food items, gas items, and I think it was food, gas, and car wash, anything kind of in those categories. I tracked it on the previous video to kind of share with you guys where that is lining up for me. And I was just very appalled at how much I was spending on certain things and how much that actually totaled out to be in a month span, and then how much that's totaled out to be thus far altogether. How much money have I spent in those categories outside of just paying my regular bills? So now that prompted me to want to dig more deeper. And there is a topic that came up when I was doing the video from yesterday where it said pay yourself first. And for some reason, when I read that, I always try to, if something resonates with me, it resonates with me. And so I kind of really, it draws me in to want to learn more. So at the end of this video, after I share my monthly goals and how I'm progressing on them, I will be sharing some points from that topic about pay yourself first. What does that mean? Um, what are the benefits, how do you actually do it, and then I'll actually throw in some of my ideas on what I'm thinking of doing as I'm going through those topics with you. So let's go ahead and jump into my May goals and see how I've progressed on them thus far. So I'm going to quickly just go through what my monthly goals are for this month. First goal is to earn at least $2,000 from a supplementary income. Second goal is to pay off my Chase credit card. Third goal is to lose 10 pounds. Fourth goal is to start SQL course on Microsoft to advance skill. Fifth goal is to read, study, and meditate on discipline. Sixth goal is to implement discipline in all areas of my life. And so let's go ahead and look at goal one. The first week of this month, I actually was able to earn $370 altogether from the supplementary income, which leaves me with $1,629 more to earn in order to meet my goal. Last week, I was able to earn money on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday, even though on Saturday I did have to travel most of that day and returned on the following Sunday, which would be this past Sunday. And I was able to earn a total of almost the same amount that I earned that first week, $369, which brings down my total left to earn $1,260 if I'm going to meet my goal. And then this week it wasn't that I wasn't able to make money on Sunday. It's just because of the travel, which I explained, from the Mother's Day weekend, traveling back to my hometown, which is 4 hours away, then an additional 1 hour, then back, the 6 hours, and then all the way back home. That's 10 hours total and some, because we did some traveling in around the town and stuff. So yeah, and the turnaround time of doing most of that traveling on Saturday and then only just coming back on Sunday, I just chose to take that Sunday to give myself rest. So then Monday, which was yesterday, I actually earned $81.40. And today I actually was able to earn $50.75. So each time I do this, I kind of just want to get in my mind, is it still reasonable for me to make that remaining amount? So I'm going to take the 1260.31 minus what I've earned so far. So far I'm going to total this together. I want to total the $81.40 plus $50.75. So far I've earned $130 something dollars, which is almost half to 300. And if I were to see how much of that it is of the, like on average, the amounts that I've earned, that's almost 36%. And I still have more than half the week left. So assuming that I would make the same amount. So let me do the average here. Let me just see on average, 81.40 plus 50.75 divided by 2. Oops. I forgot to type in a decimal. 81.40 plus 50.75 equals $132.15 divided by 2. So $66. So if I were to earn that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that'll put me up to almost $400. If I maintain the average amount that I'm earning so far this week, and the average between the 2 days that I've earned money is $66 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days this week that I should be able to earn money. That gives me a total of $396.45, which is very much close to 400. And that average number to me is like a lower end, because I intend that Friday, Saturday are going to be the peak days to where earning money should be easier on those days. So it kind of gives me a baseline on how well I could do this week. So I'll just aim for that and more, so that the following week, hopefully I can get that to where I only have like $800 left to earn. If I can get it to where my left amount at the end of this week, so 1260.31, I want to be left with only $800. So that means this week I would have to earn $460.31, which right now, if I were to subtract what I have so far, how much more money would that be? That'd be $328.16 that I have to earn over these next 4 days. And if I were to divide that by 4, that gives me the average amount of money that I need to earn the next 4 days this week, which is $82. $82 is not too much of a jump. So on average, if I earn $82 these 4 days left in this week, I will meet that goal, that intermediate goal that I just said, where I want to have $800 left to earn. So that means these last 2 weeks, all I have to do is earn $400, which is not far from what I've been earning so far. Even considering that I've done some traveling, I still did pretty good last week, considering that I had to travel for Mother's Day weekend and that I wasn't able to do anything on Sunday and Monday. That's actually pretty good. All right, so moving on to the next goal. Pay off Chase credit card, $13.84. I'm going to have to rework my budget because from the previous video, it really had me thinking about my budget and how I need to plan. And then actually after this, when I'm going to share with you guys at the end about paying yourself first, I definitely want to go back and rework my budget. So I will probably share a video of that then sometime this week, if not tomorrow. I might have the time because I'm a person that's like highly motivated. So when I find something that piques my interest, which that definitely did, I want to actually jump on it. So more than likely I have my budget reworked tomorrow. And if not, it'll be sometime this week because I want to give myself some time to really think about it and not rush with putting it together because I am trying to not only just pay off debt, but I want to save money, save and invest and create a cash flow structure with my finances. So if I have this money coming from here, what is this money for? Where is it going to go? Is it going to go to savings? Is it going to go to investment? What's the breakdown of my finances? I really want to get into the nitty gritty of it. This goal right here is a good start, but the way, and I've done this before in the past, and that's why I'm implementing it again, the snowball effect, where I take the lowest bill on my list of bills to pay and I pay that off. Then I snowball it into a bigger one and pay off the next one. I take the funds that I use for those and pay for the next one. And then eventually, before I know it, I have everything paid off. I've done it once before. However, I want to improve my strategy, my budgeting plan a little bit more to incorporate the savings. So needless to say, I did make that first payment. And so my balance is now down to $922. And it'll be in perfect timing for me to rework my balance because I mentioned before, prior to making these type of bills and payments, especially since I'm actually paying it off versus paying the minimum payment, I always want to rework my budget before I commit to making this payment just to see where am I. Has anything caused me to spend more to where I may not be able to pay this? How much money am I going to have left after paying this? What are some of the obligations that I have to take care of after paying this that I might not be thinking of right now, that when I pay it I might not have enough for this, I don't want to put myself in that predicament. So I always like to rework out my budget just to see where I'm at before I make this lump sum of money. But I am aiming to pay this off before the 25th. That way it can be all the way down to zero and I won't have to worry about any additional interest on the account. Goal 3 is to lose at least 10 pounds. I've been doing very well with this. As you can see, each week so far, I've lost some weight, and now I'm down to only needing to lose 4.8 more pounds, which is very much reasonable for the next 3 weeks. So I'm looking forward to seeing how I'm doing on that. So actually, just to kind of get myself prepared, I'm aiming to be at 232.2. That means this week till next week, I should have lost 1.6 pounds. And I did mention in the other video, and I want to keep reiterating in this one and the ones for, that I do have a wedding to go to. So last weekend I had Mother's Day and we went out to eat. So I had to be very conscious. I had to prepare myself to be very disciplined and build in a strategy of what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. I have to build some type of structure ahead of the trip. So I already have it in my mind exactly what I'm going to eat, what I'm not going to eat, what I'm going to drink, what I'm not going to drink, and so forth. And I will share that with you. I'm going to give it some more thought, and I will share with you guys what my plans are as far as like the wedding and how I'm going to maintain this goal here and not make decisions that does not align with this goal. Goal number 4, start SQL course on Microsoft to advance skill. I'm making a very harsh mental note because I have only started this, and I started this on May the 4th, and that's way at the beginning of last week. And so time has transpired, and I have yet to go back onto that course to finish the last 2 units in Module 1. So my idea is that I'm going to incorporate completing this course during my work schedule since it is work related. I had originally said the last 30 minutes, and then I realized on my calendar I have some conflicts towards the end of my work schedule. So I'm going to bump it to, I'll just have to look at my schedule. But my goal is specifically for tomorrow, my goal is to have incorporated this somewhere within my work schedule, whether it be in the morning time, whether it be in the afternoon, wherever I can find a break where I don't have anything to work on. And that's what I want to do because this is one of the goals that I haven't really made much progress on. All right, so I'm reading and still studying and meditating on discipline. The first week of this month, I looked at the importance of self-discipline. I pulled this from the book titled The Power of Self-Discipline by Daniel Walter, where it shares with us why it's so important. And that if you don't have self-discipline, it can hinder you from reaching your full potential. And someone who may not be as talented as you or intelligent as you, they can go further than you because of the simple fact that they have self-discipline and you do not. And so with reading this, the reason why it resonates with me is because I don't want to hinder myself. Who wants to hinder themselves from being the best that they can be? I don't want to be a hindrance for myself. A lot of times I look at other things hindering me, but I need to start looking at how am I hindering myself? And one way in which I am hindering myself is not having self-discipline. And so I definitely need that. Last week, I looked more into behavior, routine, and habits and how those are significant to contributing and developing self-discipline and how it helps us build a stronger willpower. And so I go through a whole spiel of that. There's a video that goes in more detail about establishing routines and habits and how you do that and what are the benefits and so forth and so on. And so I could even just add in this. This is another example of me applying it is for that goal number 4 about starting the SQL course is now that I see that I'm really not having much time, I'm going to set a routine. I'm going to put it as a part of my routine so that I can achieve that goal because if not, I'm going to be still reporting on it day by day. And then like, I didn't have anything to do. I didn't have any time. So whenever I give an excuse of not having time, I look back and I say, well, how can I manage my time more? If I'm saying that I don't have enough time, there has to be a way that I can manage my time more so that I can fit that in to my schedule. And so that's what I plan on doing. And then yesterday, a statement resonated with me about pay yourself first, and it's something that I'm actually going to share towards the end of this video. Pay yourself first means you prioritize saving before spending, so it becomes a non-negotiable part of your budget. This means setting aside a predetermined amount for savings or investments immediately after receiving income rather than waiting to see what's left at the end of the month. I definitely have made some progress with my budget and how I'm doing things. But this statement right here lets me know that I have more to do because I have yet to pay myself first. When I get paid, the first thing I do is pay my bills. The first thing I do is rework my budget and then pay my bills. And then I do have an automatic saving coming out, but I want to set it up more. I think I'm going to do some ideas on maybe a percentage of any income that comes in, a percentage of it, and I have to decide on a percentage. A percentage of it will go towards saving. Every time money lands into my account, a percentage of it is going to automatically go into another account. And I won't say automatically because if I do percentage, then that'll be something I have to do manually. But there are ways to do an automatic uh, transfer between your checking and your savings account because I do that for one in particular account. And I'll share that later on. There's just so much to share with this, but I'll talk more about this topic of paying yourself first at the end of this video. So stay tuned. And then goal number 6, how did I implement this that first week last week? I took my walk breaks. That kind of gave me self-care. I maintained my gym membership, my gym routine, going to the gym. I haven't missed a day so far. Even if I'm running behind my schedule, I've given myself grace to where I've given myself grace, but not too much grace to where I haven't shown up to the gym. It might have just been a short work time than what is planned, but it's a work in progress getting back into the routine. And then eventually it's going to be a hardcore goal for me to be at that gym at 5 o'clock instead of 5:30 or 6 or 6:30. I want to be there at 5 o'clock so I can get my full 2-hour workout. But I'm giving myself grace because I am starting my gym routine back up. And so I want to make sure that I'm being reasonable. Career, I use a work log and priority list that I've created and spread in Excel that works wonders for me with tracking my progress on different tasks and completion on different tasks and what I have open to continue working on and which ones I should work on first and so forth and so on. So it just helps me be more organized. And then this last piece of last week is pretty much what's making this whole week about finances is because I budgeted for Mother's Day weekend. I was being proactive versus reactive. And then on a previous video, I share my budget for Mother's Day weekend. And I also share how I did on that budget, which has been the reason why I'm talking more about budgets for this week. And then these are the ones that I'll be sharing the following week. So these are my goals, and here's how I've been progressing on the goals. Goal number 4 is the only one, even though I know goal number 2 looks like it also is one that I haven't made much progress on, but this is the one where I only make 4 payments. So, excuse me, it's not the same as the others where it's expected for me to work on it every day. All right, so let me jump into what pay yourself first means. So the core idea is treat savings as a non-negotiable expense, similar to paying rent or utilities. If you go back to the other video and see how much money I've actually spent on just food and other stuff like that, if I would have treated savings as a non-negotiable before I even spent money on those things, that money could have went to savings. And then also there's another thing that I could have taken advantage of, and I probably need to sign back up for it Because when I was with Bank of America before my bank switched over to Ameris Bank, they used to have Save the Change, and that was something that had just started years ago with them. And I'm not sure if Ameris does it, but it would be nice every time I spend something to know that the remaining amount that pushes me up to $1 is going to a savings account. Even that is better than nothing, because all those things that I paid for, all those things that I spent money on, is like it was $1,700 worth of stuff that's just in the category of food and gas. And the most of the money was spent on food, which is like $1,500 for the month of April. That is shocking. That's like a lot of money that I just spent on food items, which I don't think is very reasonable to spend that much money. Paying yourself first is a powerful tool for building wealth and achieving financial security by making saving a priority, not an afterthought. And that's exactly what it means when you're paying yourself first. You're going to go ahead and do that first. That's top priority. And then you're going to pay the rest of your bills. But you don't want to treat it as an afterthought, because what will tend to happen is you're going to put everything else, including, for example, I'm going to put everything else, including ordering food out, paying for gas, everything else going to go before it, to where I be done spent all of my funds on all these other things that I put as a better priority. So why does it work? So number one, it ensures consistent savings. If I set a rule and I said that every time money deposits into my account, I'm going to take a certain percentage of whatever was deposited into my account and put it towards saving. If I did that every time I got a deposit into my account, that would be a plus. I have to figure out a percentage that would be reasonable, and then choose some other things. But yeah, that would have been very consistent to where by the end of the year, who knows how much money. So I think that's what I want to do. I want to kind of start a savings account, and utilizing all these different tips that I've shared in the previous videos and this video, just see how much it grows over time by following these. So paying myself first, starting paying myself first, and then working out my bills after paying myself. So reduces financial stress. I can imagine it would. Number three, promote financial discipline. And that's what the topic is, self-discipline. And number four, simplifies budgeting. So let me go to kind of get some more information on these real quick. Let me just see. So pay yourself. So let's just see more details on ensuring consistent. So why it works. So ensuring consistent savings, automating savings makes it a regular part of your routine, eliminating the risk of forgetting or running out of funds. So I know I have that for a savings account I have set up for my son, but I just take out a fixed amount each day. And for this, I'm thinking I might want to steer towards a percentage. I want to see what a percentage does and kind of go from there, and just come up with a reasonable percentage that's not too small, but definitely not too big, because I do have other bills to pay for, and see how that goes. Reduces financial stress. Building an emergency fund and saving for future goals provide a financial cushion and peace of mind. And so that's another thing. I definitely want to do an emergency fund. I have to build my financial structure, and I'm going to share it with you guys once I build it. But everything is like a business, and I have to treat my budget like a business. It has to have a workflow. It has to have structures in place that says this is what this does. This is where this goes. This is where this accrues money and interest from. And just building that workflow that works for me, it's going to be, I want to definitely start on that. Promotes financial discipline. Prioritizing savings encourages more responsible spending and it discourages unnecessary purchases. And on the previous video, where I shared my tracking expense since January, that is a great example of why I need to implement this, because I need to have better financial discipline, especially if I'm out here spending close to $2,000 worth of money for food and gas, and majority of that is going towards food. That's a lot of money that spent towards food, and a lot of it is because whenever you order out, it costs more versus them buying groceries or using the groceries that I've already bought and making food. And then it simplifies budgeting. By allocating savings up front, you focus on living within the remaining income supply, simplifying the budgeting process. So that makes sense. That's almost forcing you to live within your means. And then you're not just taking away, because think of it, I can't cry over spilled milk, but I'm just wondering, like, yeah, if I would have started this in my 20s, how far I would be as far as how much money I have saved up. And I've heard a lot of people when I was in my 20s, they were saying, yeah, you're doing good once you save up your money. If I was you, I would invest. Go ahead and invest. And it's still not too late right now, but I need to go ahead and do what I need to do and become more financial stable and responsible in order to just be better all around financially, building myself up one brick at a time. So, how to implement it? How do you implement pay yourself first? Well, first, determine the savings amount. How much money are you able to put back? How much money am I able to put back? I know I talked about using a percentage way of saying, okay, every time money hits my account, I'm going to take a percentage of that and put it towards savings. Automate savings. I have a savings account where it's automated, and that only works if it's a fixed account. Or, I could give a guess or an average amount of what I expect to be in my account at a certain period of time, and then I could generate a fixed percentage of what I'm projected to have, and have that fixed percent to go automatically to savings. So I don't have to worry about touching it myself. It'll automatically be doing it itself, going into my savings. Number 3, budget with remaining funds. So now that I'm putting myself first as far as savings, I'm gonna have to subtract, just like and it kind of imitates our paycheck. So when we get paid off the rip, they take out insurance, Medicare, or whatever, Social Security, your health plan, your vision plan. Every single time that you get paid, I get paid. Um, all of that is taken off the top, and then whatever we have left, that's what they pay us. I need to implement that same strategy when it comes to savings. So now that once they've done that and I get my check, I need to now add on to that savings, my own individual savings, figure out what that amount is going to be. And then from there, subtract it from that check to have whatever funds I have left to make means work with my budget and my expenses. Number 4, review and adjust. It's important to adjust because if a plan is not working, you don't want to force it to work. There might be some other options that I could do to make it work better. So, how to implement pay yourself first? First, determine savings amount. Decide on percentage or fixed amount to save from each paycheck. A common guideline is the 80-20 rule: 20% to savings, but adjust based on your goals and income. And that's reminds me of a budget sheet that I had. I did have that set to 20%, where I had it planned out where 20% of it should go to my savings. But I just kept track of how much actually I had left over in my account, and whether or not that was 20% or not. I didn't actually send that money to a savings account. So I'm going to actually be working on my budget and ways in which to implement this. going forward, probably before this month ends. And then hopefully I'll be able to take you guys along the journey of that and then share with you, my results on it. You can see where I am now and you can see where I'm going to be in the future. So budget with remaining funds. Plan your budget around the remaining incomes after allocating savings. And then 4, review and adjust. Periodically review your savings and budget to ensure alignment with your goals and changing circumstances. All right. And then what are the benefits of paying yourself first? Well, first of all, it builds a financial safety net. 2, promotes consistent savings growth. 3, helps reduce overspending. 4, improves financial discipline and focus on long-term goals. I definitely don't want to overspend anymore when it comes to food, gas, or anything in general. And that's just from me tracking. I definitely don't want to spend close to $2,000 on food. That is ludicrous to me. So I am on the journey of being more disciplined. I've gone over my May 2025 goals, showed you where I am on those, and then I've also gone over a tidbit that relates to self-discipline in regards to finances. It relates to savings, where you're told to pay yourself first. So if you are liking the content that I am dropping on my channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm just going to go ahead and close this out because guess what? I will be seeing you guys again tomorrow with another update on my May goals, as well as some tips that I'm willing to share. Have a nice day.